So I guess I'm just trying to suggest that my story is very unrelatable to other people. And so I can totally see where people are like, this guy's just crazy, blah, blah, blah. But it's just not the case. Anybody in my situation would be seen as crazy by an outsider who didn't know the first thing about what was happening in my life from growing up to, you know, in the recent. They wouldn't have any idea of what it's like, is what I'm saying. And so, just taking a small example, but when you're out here working, for an example, and you need your phone's energy, and it's constantly attacking your phone's energy, let's just pretend it's only $50 a day that you're out because of that energy attack. Well, after a week's time, that's $350. After a month's time, that's over $1,000, every month that you're just out because of the energy attack that's happening to you. And so their movement in this way is just to make sure that it's to push you into homelessness. It's to hurt you financially. Because the playbook is always the same. They either need you homeless, dead, in jail, or in a psych ward, or, being held against your will, or what have you. Just anything that's systemic, basically. Because then when are you going to have time to work on that dream of yours? When are you going to be able to practice your drums? When are you going to be able to write, if you're a writer? When are you going to have time for these things? Because it's to otherwise say that you don't have an organic life, because you start thinking, well, okay, if it's this way, I'm going to just start working double time. And so you do, to make ends meet. But now that you're overworked, overstressed, they're still hacking you, they're still mirroring you, they're going back to the drawing boards, they're still making moves on you. You're automatically like in a situation, and there's just no getting away from it. These are controlled, if you ask me, by really sick pedophiles at the top that work with the elites, CIA, criminal class. Like, it doesn't matter. Their art of war is impeccable against targets. And their ability to maneuver your life based on the psychological effects that it takes in your life just pushes you into extremes. And so I'm to the point where I'm not three people. I'm not able to work to that level, and I don't even have the energy of a normal person on my phones, or just in my body is normal. But I'm not talking about that energy. I'm talking about the actual energy your devices need in order to make things work. Meaning, if you're having to shop and order to make money, and you're having to reset your phone all of the time to the point where, well, the store is closing and you have 15 items left, but you were just being hacked. Well, you would have been able to get through that order and make the $56, but instead you have to cancel that order, and the only thing that you're going to get is $3 for all of that time and energy. So, and then on top of it, you're sent through like a phone loop, like within the system. So you're out more time, you're out more energy, you're out more money, not just that initial amount for that one order. This happens all of the time. How am I supposed to get past that? They've made it automatically like I can't fucking get a job. Like a normal person, they'll stop me from any front whatsoever from money. Meaning, they'll call these places, blacklist me before even trying to get a job there. It's like there's nothing I can do without the help of somebody else recognizing real to time in the system that this is a serious situation, not a mental health crisis. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they're trying to gear it up after, because that's the controllers. That's how far reaching these controllers are within the pedophile community or whatever. I don't know what's going on as far as that's concerned, but all I know is that these people are and have been trying to stuff me into an early grave for a long time. Covertly poisoning me, keeping me without my natural abilities in life, and never knowing it for the longest time. And then having to question it, and then after questioning it, running into time and time again where these things are actually surfacing as true. And so I went with it as it was true, and I started feeling better. I started gaining my memories, and at that point I didn't trust them at all, because the memories that were coming back to me were memories of him like poisoning me, putting stuff in my food and drink, and in ways that I'm not going to ignore my own mental surface coming, or my own memories coming back to surface. I am not going to deny my own ability to keep myself alive for this long, because this last couple times, I thought I was I thought I was dead, okay? So I'm not going to be okay with anybody trying to make this a mental health issue versus what it is. And that is that because of my dad, like from the beginning, because of my dad's fuckery, it somehow traveled into my brothers for the evil plans that they had. They took and were making it to sabotage me from being a kid, and now they have something big to hide. And so I think from growing up and dealing with it in that way, and dealing with the abuse that happened to them in that way to try and silence me, just went way overboard. And now now they know it, and now they don't know what to do about it. The only thing that they think that I can reasonably think is just continue. They got away with a lot already. Just continue, and as long as they can get away with it and I die, that they don't get caught. And I'm alive, so yeah. In other words, they got caught up. Jesse Lee initially was supposed to be my friend, but I think he was more of a designed weapon. His love, every part of his camaraderie towards me and with me was all a part of this plan. To hurt me in the worst ways, decimate me, hack me, and then having more access to me than anybody should have had, coming up out of homelessness, with a paid girlfriend, mind you, to come up against me, to poison me, to continue this poisoning in my life that they couldn't obviously do. themselves anymore. Or the whole time anyway. This is a crime against me in whole. And it's a crime against me in all. It's a crime against me and my brain. And my brain's functions. I mean, not just in my mentality of like recognizing it and stuff like that. That's a crime too. But it's a crime in the fact that these poisons affected me my whole life. And then them hacking and maneuvering me to snake me out of all of my income. And any time that there was income missing, it would be in weird places, like right where my brother worked, where you're supposed to be like the oversight of making sure that doesn't happen, but somehow it's going to happen to your own little brother. Interesting. It is. It's interesting. I don't know. It's just the fact that after all of this abuse, and I'm not talking about just the recent financial stuff, I'm talking about since I was young. I just think that I'd be a billionaire by now. A millionaire. I'd be doing something with my life way better than this. Having to fight this all of the time. I haven't even been able to play my drums. Or do anything. I haven't even been able to eat. Put it that way. I have not been able to have a full meal, I feel, in forever. Like an actual full meal. I don't know. And now I can't pay for things. And they know. They know what they're doing. They know. Even if it was $20 a day, turns into a lot of money. Even if it's just my own personal energy that they're stopping me from going out and being after to get after money, they're stopping me. They've stopped me. They've blocked me from jobs. They've stopped me in my grind. And my last job, my last real job, let's just explain that. I was going into work not knowing what was going on. Still blaming myself, mind you. I even had went to a coworker at one point and said, I think that my own friend is with my girl. And he's like, no, she wouldn't do that to you, man. She's a good one. And then this stuff is actually happening. And it's been happening my whole life. By that man having more access to me than any man should. So anyone that wants to try and tell me like I don't have rights in this, fuck you. That motherfucking man deserves to get his head chopped off, and I'm sorry to say it that way, but it's the fucking truth. I know that there's mafias out here that if they had anybody dealing with even a fucking fraction of what I've been dealing with, motherfuckers would be fed to the fishies. Real talk. So I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being out here doing this instead of doing something I would have wanted to do with YouTube. And as soon as I was to try, all I really wanted to do was create a funneling system and a lyrical mission for the actual website that I was building. I mean, and the thing is just amazing if you ask me. But there's no charity, none, that would even do a tenth of what I would be doing. So I can see why I'm targeted there too, but these Freemasons in their control and these pedophiles in their control have to stop. And if they're not going to stop, then it's war. I mean, it's been war is what I'm trying to say. I've been faced up with the covert, very narcissist, malignant type of narcissism. The lasciviousness of these people. I've been dealing with covert psychological manipulation. I've been dealing with covert drugging and covert chemical control over me to maneuver all of my energy, mirroring all of my data, so that is their drawing board. They're not in any circumstances. They're not allowing me to grow. They're not allowing me to have any kind of normalcy out here whatsoever. Work, home, family, love life, my finances, my health, just everywhere that you could imagine it affecting, it's affected. I couldn't even get my last manager to write me back about a phone call I overheard. I want to know who was on that phone call, and I think I have the right to know who is blacklisting me, who was on that call. And furthermore, it was about me figuring out that I was fucking poisoned going into work there. And so it was about a certain smell, because I've been dealing with that since I've been in the 5th grade. And it would help me. It would help me prove my plight. So if there's anyone out there that knows me, that can write on my behalf, it would mean a lot to me. I deserved to be able to work. I deserved to fight in my life for my life, especially after the 12 years of homelessness before. Because of the ways that these people have been maneuvering in my life and me knowing it now. Far well.